Hey, what's up everybody? It's Lids, and we're back for some more Hades 2, and if you missed our last run, then you definitely need to go check it out. Because I very much would like to speak about it. I'll give you a brief moment to be spoiler safe. Okay, but now that time is up. Yeah, that was almost certainly our best run ever, and to the point where I don't know if we are ever going to have a run as strong as that. Defensively, it was basically perfect, and then offensively, it had at least my favorite combo. So it's the kind of run you feel like, all right, that's enough. We cannot ever top that, so we just retire here. But alas, we still have more things to check out. So for this run, we have the skull is the bonus weapon. Now, we haven't used this one so much. I feel like it's very boom or bust. It either goes incredibly well or it goes horribly wrong. I think last time it did not go all that well. I'm not actually sure if we finished any runs with this. I remember I really liked the charge special, but it does take some time to charge that up, and so we've gotten hit and taken a fair bit of damage while doing that. Also, I think I've become over-reliant on that at times, gotten a little carried away with it, so we'll see. It's been a while since we last used this, so I'm not entirely sure how this one's gonna play out. It's definitely not gonna be as good as the last run, I can tell you that much. But I know we had some question as to whether Gold Purse was the best one to start off with. I think we probably still will. And then, oh, as for aspects, hold on a second. We can afford to upgrade this. It does cost a lot of lime. Where is that from? Is that Oceanus where you get that? I feel like we can afford to upgrade this again. We do have alternatives, but I feel like might just go all in on the one that we've already ranked up several times.
I see what you see now.
And this, I believe, is now max rank. So, okay. Remember, the basic attack is kind of odd, because you basically have ammo. You have 4 skulls you can use, and then you have to go back and retrieve them in order to be able to attack again. For what it's worth, I do think this weapon has been changed in a few different ways, at least numerically, since we last used it, because it was one of the most significantly changed in the most recent update. I don't think we've played it yet, though, since this most recent update. So, I guess we're ready to go. Oh, let me double check on this side of things.
A healthy fear of darkness.
Unfortunately, the bonus boss is Cerberus, and that would require going down, and we probably would still like to go up. Although you could make the case that getting the bonuses from these are actually the most meaningful thing at this point. I think we should still try to take on Typhon and defeat Typhon at least one more time before we start shifting gears to either the fear-related stuff or going back to the Chaos Trials. So I guess that means we're just going no fear on this run, because there's no real benefit from that. So, alright, here we go. I really don't know how we're going to fare on this one, other than that it will not be as smooth as the previous run.
Hephaestus.
It's been a long time since we've seen Hephaestus. Once upon a time, I did really like some of his boons. Oh, I also didn't check our Arcana at all. Hopefully it's fine.
Been clambering up our mountainside, would you? I haven't, thankfully, but hearing that he's pretty big inside. Typhon himself. I scarce can keep a steady hand with him about.
I honestly can't tell you when the last time we saw Hephaestus was. Several runs ago. So his thing is basically slower but higher bursts of damage, because his boons generally have cooldowns like this. 200 damage in an area, but an 8-second cooldown on our attack. I feel like that works well with this weapon, since it kind of has a natural downtime when you're retrieving your skulls. So that could work very well. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, it is also the highest rarity one. Whenever you take damage, shrug off some, and wait, what? Whenever you take damage, shrug some of it off. So -2 damage per hit. I get that. And restore 200 or 150 magic, rather. 250 would be even more ridiculous, but 150 is insane. So that intrigues me. Might want to pick that up later, because especially if we're thinking, okay, that's insane damage. Well, that's because of the boon. gives you a sense for how powerful this could be. This is one boon in. It does have a cooldown, yes. But, oh, I missed this as well. Oh, and this is automatic fishing? It does kind of feel like fishing is just the least rewarding. That does look very cool, though. There are technically different rarities on each floor, so I wonder if that's the highest rarity fish you can get on this floor. But you just sell them for bones? It's just kind of underwhelming.
No shells.
Oh, okay. Need to make sure we pick up the shells, and then we could do some of that. Oh, there's a spawner over here. I didn't realize that. Yeah, so we have some pretty insane burst damage just from a single boon, and it is our only boon right now, so we know we're about to upgrade it, which is not bad. What is it? It improves the cooldown rather than the damage. I think that's fine. 8 seconds, you know, it seemed like it was a pretty long bit of downtime there, and 6, that alone might mean that now it kind of just naturally coincides with how long it takes for us to get back our skulls. What do we have here? Okay, so we have more Hephaestus. I really like what we have going on so far, so I think doubling down on Hephaestus could be good. Obviously, the hammer right next to us is very intriguing as well. Selene, if we do lean in to the charge special, getting a really good hex, especially if we were to take Selene's keepsake on the next floor, could be really good. There is the option to go double Zeus. Zeus, I feel like, has a natural synergy with Hephaestus because it's also kind of similar in that it's a bit of a delay and then a big burst of damage. In Zeus's case, you need to hit the enemy more times before the effect triggers, applying even more damage. Why don't we start with the hammer, though? And this might influence whether we opt to continue going all in on the attack. Oh, we need more of this. That's going to mess me up sometimes, just not realizing quickly that we are out of the skulls. That was very good timing to destroy that stuff. Okay. So will we go into the charge special, or will we double down on the attack? Here's the question here. Let's see. Attacks, fire your shells all at once in a spread pattern. I don't know what I think of that. Sounds like that's good for area of effect, clearing out a room quickly, but I don't know what that does for bosses. That feels like that is bad, because then you lose all of your shells immediately. Although clear speed-wise, could just immediately delete a room. Does that mean that all of those attacks are getting the Hephaestus effect? In which case, that actually could be getting really big value out of Hephaestus. Shells fly back to you automatically and 100% faster. Convenient. Although, I'm not sure in terms of raw power how good that is. That's just kind of dealing with the whole thing I was saying is kind of a skill issue of not remembering to pick them up after doing them. After your charge special projectiles fire, they fire again toward you. Oh man, so this is the question. Exactly what I was saying before. Do you go for the attack or do you go for the charge special? I really don't know. I want both of these things. I mean, our attack right now has more going for it, so maybe we try this, although I feel like this is a little bit more of a risk.
Now to head back.
I think that looks like it's gonna do all the Hephaestus stuff. I think every one of those projectiles will use Hephaestus's boon. So, as long as it's relatively well aimed, it could be ridiculous. Oh, I also just realized, I never realized this before, but in the left side of on the left side of the screen, where you see our Hephaestus boon, now is a great example, you see there's a little timer that shows you basically once that's coming off cooldown. I think we go in for more Hephaestus at this point. Ooh, okay, not gonna have a lot of control over when we destroy those guys, the devices in the middle. If we are right on top of the enemies when we use our attack, ooh, that was bad. If we're right on top of them when we use the attack, then we kind of just automatically retrieve the skulls immediately, which is kind of nice. And if we're standing right next to a single enemy, we can still shotgun them and make them get hit by all the skulls.
In the name of Hades.
Okay, so we're looking for either something to further enhance the effect of that attack or something that is just also good. Cast, deal damage 3 times in succession to foes in the Binding Circle. I think that's the basic cast from Hephaestus, although it's just common rarity. Each start of each encounter, we are impervious for 6 seconds. That is kind of nice. Blast effects from Hephaestus deal more damage and are 50% larger. We have to take this. We have to take this. There's no option. There's no alternative. Yeah, no, there's too much potential there. Too much potential to turn that down, even if the other one sounded cool as well. Oh, this is just free health. Not even any enemies. Fine with that. And we have not yet had any reason to spend our coins, and since we took the coin keepsake, we are working from a position of strength there. Okay, so we have 4 left. So if we go, say, double Zeus, it is a double heart. That's hard to turn that down. I'm thinking it's maybe double Zeus, double heart, and Selene. Maybe Selene first, to be honest. Just so that we can benefit more from using the cast, or rather using the charged special as soon as possible. Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. It was hard to make sense out of all the things that were happening there. Oh, not even realized that was there. Okay, and I'm trying to get a little bit more of a feel for, just without having to stare at the Hephaestus spoon in the corner to watch the cooldown, how long I need to wait in between attacks in order to actually get the Hephaestus effect back.
I bid you shine for me again tonight.
You braved the surface and the ardor of the journey to the mountain of the gods, then somehow withstood that monstrous being risen from the past. You are even more than I imagined, little star.
Oh, little star. Okay,
Look
let's see.
forth.
So this is the hex that we used last time, and it probably is my favorite. We have used this before to half-decent effect. Haven't used this one much. I do really like the Lunar Ray. If you can manage to upgrade it significantly, it can become incredible. So, as long as we use the Selene keepsake later on, which I kind of would like to squeeze in.
Oh, good.
That's just ridiculous. Okay. Extra gold as well. Yeah, small rooms, confined spaces, I think technically those are to our advantage, since it just makes it easier to hit absolutely everything in them with the huge Hephaestus explosions. Okay, so I feel like we have to do this. The double heart is just really good value. Maybe a little bit more on the fence with the double Zeus. We could potentially go, I think it was what, Ares was an alternative. Oh.
Peace, sir.
Need a break from all the slaughter, just stand back. Far back.
This could be interesting, given how I assume we're about to compete. Yep.
Come.
Hold on, I need these back. Oh, no, don't do that yet. Oh, you are. Okay, that's not ideal, really. To tell you the truth. Nope. No, he stole it from me. That was maybe not necessary. Oh, that was horrible timing on that. I'll do some of this. Ow. No. Stop attacking them. We got 100 gold from that. I wasn't really checking that closely to see how we did relative to him. But that's, of course, 100 gold in addition to the double max health upgrade that we just got. So we are getting a lot of stuff early here.
Our fathers sure made a mess of things for us, didn't they, sister?
His father is Zeus.
Born to the mightiest of gods,
Right.
yet living like outcasts.
I don't remember if we've ever explicitly stated that before.
It's Kronos that made a mess of things. If he'd have just stayed dead, we'd be at peace. And together with our fathers, no doubt.
Have you met our fathers? Sure, we're in the midst of an interminable war, but at least we're far away from them.
I mean, sure, they have their issues, but they're not as bad as Kronos. Most of the time. Okay, oh, does our... Wait, see how our skull is sparkling right now? Is that a visual indicator for the Hephaestus boon being active? Because if so, that's theoretically a little more convenient than having to look over all the way to the left side of the screen. However, of course, there's going to be a lot of stuff going on right on top of our character, so... going to be a lot of visual clutter. Okay, speaking of Heracles' father, we could see him a few times here. The alternative would be, I think, going double magic plus Ares. The idea there being that makes it easier to lean into the charged special, because we'd be spending more magic along the way. It doesn't feel like that's an urgent need since our attack is so strong so quickly. I feel like I want to go double Zeus, I think I want to go double Zeus.
Foolish.
Me? Speed up real quick.
Ghastly thing.
I honestly couldn't even tell if we had our skulls or not on that occasion, since they dropped right next to us. Ooh, we are not done here. Oh, that didn't hit you! No! I feel betrayed. Also, I would like my skulls back, please. And I missed. That is actually pretty bad news for us if we do happen to miss with our attack, since it has functionally the cooldown. Okay.
In all my rancor, I never thought Kronos completely mad. But what else could have driven him to use the father of all monsters as a weapon? Typhon heeds no master. The destruction of Olympus shall not sate his appetites.
And as we were saying before, and as we've seen in the Typhon encounter, of course, Zeus and Typhon have a bit of a history as well. Let's see, your specials? We don't have a special boon yet. We would like one. As for whether it's better to go for Zeus or Hephaestus, I'm not entirely sure. So this one... Afflicted foes are struck by lightning after they take 120 damage or after 3 seconds. I forgot about that. Okay, so you can just play the patient route. So again, it's similar in many, especially if you're just waiting for the damage to apply. Very similar to how the boons work for Hephaestus, which is why I would think there'd be kind of a synergy between Zeus and Hephaestus, or you could argue the opposite and say, well, they have the same weakness and that they have downtime before they deal damage, or in between dealing damage. In each encounter, either font appears in an area, restores all magic when used. That's a great way to restore magic, as we were saying. There's some interest in making that be a thing. Would we rather have the special or the... I mean, I think we go special. Special is going to be more important long term. As for whether Zeus was the ideal source of the special, that I'm not sure of, but...
For me.
A little bit of max health, and obviously the ashes, but that's not as relevant for this run. Okay. I think we are ready to go then, and we are probably about to pay Zeus another visit. One moment, please.
For the underworld.
Oop. Nope. I assume I have these back. Not that that was necessarily the best place to... Well, I mean, it blew up the container, which did work fairly well for us.
In the name of Hades.
Okay, what do we get here? Cast, I think we'd like higher rarity on the big ones. Whenever you use magic, random surrounding foe is struck by lightning. Oh, I like that. Strike emits chain lightning that bounces up to 4 times, but wait. So this... Ooh. I feel like higher rarity of this would be nice. The prime, that is a lot of magic to prime, so that's kind of unfortunate there. I think we take this for now.
Lightning from on high.
I did see this, which I think we were running kind of low on the bronze. Oh, maybe not that much. I feel like there was at least one. Oh, and we got the free fire boon credit from that. Okay, so we're actually getting up kind of high on the fire boon side, a little bit on the air side. I'm assuming that's the 2 Zeus boons in all likelihood.
This is my
Oh,
father.
hello? And goodbye, I suppose? Okay, so we're ready to go through. We do not need any healing, but we'll take it, because we can. And we can get very aggressive here on this shop. Of course, we could save some of the monies for future shops, but who needs to save? Okay, so I think we want the palm slice as quickly as possible because boons we are interested in upgrading. Power surge. That's the bolt damage. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So if we're leaning into the charge special, that could become really good.
What do we have in stock?
Apollo has some area of effect modifiers, which could also work well with Hephaestus.
Hear me on my authority.
Let's see. Ooh. Well, you have at least 3 fire, and we do. Whenever you take damage, restore 30% health over 5 seconds. Alternatively, if you stand in your casts when they expire, immediately restore a pretty sizable chunk of magic. Your attack has a 5% chance to hit twice. Oh man, wait, does this? If it hits twice, when the Hephaestus boon is active, does that mean Hephaestus hits twice? Because if so, that's absurd. I mean, it's still an extremely low percentage chance. So, I don't love it, at least not at that rarity. It just feels like it's way too infrequent to rely on that. I feel like we go for this, because we have some good offensive stuff going on. Maybe we wait a little, or maybe we go more on the defensive side, just to shore that up a bit more. Might not need that. I feel like we can save that.
We vanquished Typhon, at least for the night, my lord.
It's true.
Hermes ensured that I was well supplied. Plenty of gold for you lately.
That's true, we have been spending a lot. Okay, but now for you, and I feel like this setup should be decent. Who?
So what does Kronos offer you exactly for these ineffectual attempts to bar my passage?
Ouch.
Don't see how that's any of your business, meat.
Ooh.
You're the one barging into my turf, making a fuss in my town. Falls on me to keep things nice and orderly.
All your way falls on me.
Pyre is not your town. Unless that was your arrangement with the Titan, though the city wasn't his to give away. In any case, ready to earn your nightly keep.
Let us see.
You don't know the next thing about my arrangement.
Oh,
For one, I always take my pay up front.
smart.
But with you here, I get a little bonus.
Oh. I was curious how much damage that would do. We just had him eat all of that in one go. I hate how him just jumping into us like that counts as him dealing damage. We immune from that hit though when we're doing the charge
The roll's empty.
special? I'm not sure. I don't think we were. Right here. Oh, that was unfortunate timing. Okay.
Wake up.
Fortunately, we can basically one-shot all of them. This would have been a great time for the special. Or rather, the Hex. Oh, I almost walked in. Oh, no, he's doing the rock. Oh, you're lucky that that technically still counted as a resist.
The sheep got into something bad.
Oh, we're all the way over here, buddy. Skulls are over here. One moment. Do we have limited range on the attack? We actually might.
If I'm not sleeping, no one is. Dum 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 dum.
What?
There you are. You're making me upset.
Am I now? I do know we have the hex. I'm trying to find a good time to break it out, though. These guys are also getting annoyed. Is he in range? Oh, that was unfortunate. Oh, and that was also bad timing. Oh, we're out of magic. Okay, so yeah, as we suspected might end up being the case. If you do spam the charge special, you will eventually run out of magic unless you have a way to earn it back. I don't love the corner we find ourselves stuck in. I saw that coming. And that. It's just such a huge burst of damage that I'm basically just, at this point, waiting for Windows to do that. Okay, I mean, we resisted several of his hits, but we didn't actually take any damage, so, I mean, obviously we have healing going into the next floor, but pretty good. So if we're willing to play patiently and relatively defensively, then it gives us the big Hephaestus burst damage coming back, and then, you know, you can just rely on those because it hits hard enough.
Unfortunate livestock residing with the ravenous Cyclops seem to be unaware of the conditions under which they graze about and wander. Not exactly lost. At least, not yet.
The one they have to guide them is asleep.
Then, of course, we can go with the special
help?
when we, for whatever reason, can't pick up the skulls. So yeah, I think Moonbeam next probably makes sense, so we can make use out of that hex more as quickly as possible. I mean, otherwise, you could try to do something of the magic sort, but feel like
Good.
the hex itself will be the point of emphasis. Get more magic this way. And we have a lot of gold still. I think we don't really need that. I think we can do this. We saw that several of the gods and goddesses that we have boons from, and therefore have precedent for, have some very solid boons to give us magic back, so I don't want to overreact too much to that. Getting just a little bit... don't want to overreact too much to overspending our magic.
Check.
We don't necessarily know that we're going to take any of those boons, or when we might take them, so there might be better alternatives. I suppose there could be golden urns here, and I wasn't even really thinking of it in that way. I just was choosing destruction for the sake of destruction. Okay, I feel like this is going to be a pretty good floor for the Hephaestus stuff, because oftentimes the enemies will be right next to each other like that. Not always. These spear guys do like to hang out on their own. Now, obviously,
Change of course.
we can deal damage even when the Hephaestus boon is on cooldown, but it's a lot juicier when we have that. Okay, so the magic, again, we could get a little bit more of that, but we are going to get that appearing pretty soon from the mini shop purchase, so I think we go for even more Selene. Where are the enemies? Here are the enemies. I do wish it had just a little bit more damage, because, as you can see, some of the bigger enemies are surviving. would make a big difference. Just have a little bit more firepower there.
Okay.
Alright, so then this, along with the benefit from the keepsake, means we have 8 to work with, and the big one we are always working toward is not this, it's this. How many does it take to get there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, we can get it. So we're definitely doing that. During our hex, we take less damage. Not a huge deal until we get this, because then we can run around and do whatever we want during the hex. Hex gains power the longer it charges up for. After using our hex, we become more powerful, become even more powerful. Hex deals more damage over time. Hex deals even more damage over time. And we can use the hex remotely. Hex pierces foes. I don't remember seeing this before. The one thing we notably have not picked up yet is this. We don't have any of the passive hex generation. Now, if we are consistently spending our magic, especially with the charge special, then we can just do it the old-fashioned way. But it is nice to have at least some of this in case, for whatever reason, maybe you're out of magic, so you can't charge up your hex the old-fashioned way at all. This is tempting, but I think maybe in the short term, we get at least a little bit of that automatic charging. Ooh, it's Zeus. That's good. That's good. Let's see. Dashing causes surrounding foes to be struck by lightning. I just want to double-check one of the other Zeus boons that we got. This one. Whenever you use magic, a random surrounding foe is struck by lightning. Okay, I thought we had one that strikes enemies with lightning just whenever we use skills, but I mean, when we use charge-up skills, yes. I wanted to see if any of these might synergize with that. This doesn't. So this would be one of those big magic restoration sources that we were alluding to before. We don't yet have a cast boon. Could go this route, although I do think I really like Festus's cast, so I might try waiting out for that. This is the highest rarity, so maybe we go for it, and I think it's half decent damage for dash, at least. We get this, which I don't think we had much of. So that's good. There's this. Up to 100 gold. We're on full life right now, and we have big bursts of damage. I think we give it a go.
Interlopus.
Because that is very effective. We did take a little bit of damage there. Now, if we can't take out the enemies in one hit, then of course we might have to wait for retrieving the skulls or getting the Hephaestus stuff back, but that was still almost 100 gold right there. That's pretty solid. We took one hit there. We healed off almost all of that just by entering this room. Hold on one moment. No, I wanted the skulls back. Oh, and that was a split second away from avoiding that hit as well. So that's the downside. That's still the downside of this setup, is the downtime. Either in between those big attacks or in the time it takes for us to charge up the special. So we need to be wary of that. That's a fair bit of damage we took in just a very short encounter. This does give us a little bit more max health. This, I mean, helps us buy some stuff back in town, which, especially in runs like this when we don't have the fear factor helping us get Nightmare or Shadow, whatever those resources might be, it is kind of nice to have some of the bones, but we are taking the bonus bones weapon. Hold on. Use this to help retrieve bones as well. Go away. Rather retrieve the skulls, I should say. Nope, that. Don't do that. Don't do that. So technically speaking, since Zeus is on the special, and Zeus damage applies after they take more damage, by some accounts you could make the case Zeus with the charge special, then the attack is actually the preferred order of operations. The Zeus effect does trigger after 3 seconds even if you don't deal any damage at all. So it's not critically important that we do the stuff in that order, but you could make the case that that's technically the best way to do it. Just doesn't quite, the charge special is not quite as fast. Doesn't have the same immediacy. Oh, I thought you did not have that kind of range. I thought I was safe from there. Nope. Also not really what I want. Unless it just takes you out. If you want to finish one of those guys off. So you're like, yeah, not so much. Okay. This is interesting. So we do have Apollo precedent. As I said, he does have some AoE-oriented abilities. I think some that just affect other boons, so we could get even more AoE on this attack, which would be nice, but I don't know how likely that is. And then the freeze effect from Demeter is always welcome. Our cast slot is still open. That is a good place to put the freeze, and then that does help us stall out that little bit of time to get the skulls back. So you know what? Let's go for this. We'll try to get the cast boon. Hopefully. I missed. I completely whiffed. And that was horrible positioning as well. Oh! I legitimately couldn't see the enemy because there were so many explosions there. Oh my gosh. Oh, I didn't see these guys either. The swords. We can place this now, and it does its own thing. We don't need to worry about our positioning all that much.
One left.
Can I get those back, please? No? Okay. Not ideal. We've started taking a lot of damage here.
For you've thrown our enemies upon this mountain into turmoil. Even now they attempt to regroup, but with your continued effort, we may drive them back.
Let's see. This is exactly what we were looking for. High rarity as well. Not strictly necessary, because it's not the damage that is the main reason why we're taking that, but still. Oh, that's good timing. Just want to check how many of each type of boon we have, because we got in the previous run, one of the things that was just absolutely incredible for us was this infusion boon from, I think it was Demeter, that I think only applies either once you have 4 or possibly as much as 6 of the water boons, and that, I believe, if I remember correctly, was the thing that capped out the amount of damage we took per hit at 20, which was really nice, especially in the later floors when enemies are usually dealing huge chunks of damage. Less of a factor here, but since we've taken some damage, thinking about the defensive stuff a little bit more. Is this? Oh, the layout looked a little bit different there. I wasn't sure if it was Cersei or not, because I thought there were going to be more sheep/pigs right from the onset.
So you have seen the great monstrosity with your own eyes, have you, Poppet? Typhon, I mean, of course. Oft have I wondered about his deep connection to the natural world.
Deep his connection may be, but doesn't mean he's friendly.
And what connection would that be? He's a monster, just as you said. A thing that does not belong in our world.
Yet there he is, where you'll be going soon. Who only knows the limits of our world, and that which it contains? Certainly not you or I, Poppet. All that is here belongs, is what I say.
Alright. Let's see. Various animal familiar abilities are 100% stronger this night. We have gotten this before. It was something that we took during our 2 runs ago, our cursed run, in which we blew through, I think it was 6 Death Defiances in one encounter, Eris. So, I'm a little scarred from that. It is strong, don't get me wrong, but I feel like we might be tempting fate a bit if we take it again. Let's see. Otherwise, randomly draw one of your active arcana and upgrade it. Restore 50% of your health. Any healing effects are 25% stronger this night. Now, short term, that's nice. because it would fully heal us, and there is still a long-term effect, improving all of our healing abilities. Also, apparently, our Hex has been charging up this whole time. This is probably still the best option, so I guess we'll take it.
Very well. Thanks.
What was that little visual effect there new? Also, fishing opportunity.
Tuna, be my guest. No escape.
No escape indeed. It's a squid! Alright, here we go. This at least gave us one room with no enemies in it, in which we could heal a little bit. Just from making it through. So that's nice.
Tuna.
Leave this. Do that. Do that. Get the skulls back. Hit you with said skulls. Get the skulls back again.
Which way now?
Take you out. Okay. Oh, right, and we have the cast now. The freezing cast. Okay, don't forget that. That's significant. All right, so... do we have to wait till the end to do this? I'm just curious. I think we do. Okay. Again, I think we had this question previously. I think we'll just go for the... what is most immediately helpful. These little guys are not great with our setup, because they kind of just waste the Hephaestus. Ooh, and this cast actually works really well with freeze, or the Hex works really well with the freeze as well. I had not really considered that before. I would like the skulls back, please. Thank you. Don't know what that hit. You're alive. But now you're dead. Okay. Didn't take any damage from that, so that's good. Oh, right. I was like, what do we need to do here? Get a little more health there. Could get more gold from doing that. Oh, it's been a long time since we last saw a Trial of the Gods. That type of encounter might have been renamed, if I remember correctly, in Hades 2. That's what it was called in Hades 1 at least. I think we still do this. I think the potential is still high enough. We might have taken a little bit of damage there. We certainly did there. Yeah, we got hit twice. That's not good. Stop dodging me. That's illegal. And also, it's making this take way longer than it should. And I don't appreciate that. Oh. Not great. Especially given how this is going to be a difficult encounter that we're going into. Our gold is solid, so I don't know, maybe that'll pay off, maybe it won't. Okay, so remember, since it's been a while, the whole deal with these encounters is that you have to choose one of these gods first. You'll get their boon immediately, but then the other god is going to get mad at you. And during the encounter with all the enemies, you will also have some kind of environmental effect that deals damage based on whichever god you scorn. So I really don't remember what either of these ones are in Hades 2. We may not have seen either of them. So I think we're just planning based on whichever god we think gives us the most immediate value, we take that first. And there may be duo potential with Zeus, or even legendary potential, because we have a lot of Zeus boons already. I'm not sure if we actually have enough boons from other... we might have enough boons from other people to get duo Zeus Hephaestus, so I think we go Zeus here. Okay, it's the mana restoration one again. Hold the cast to change where it goes, and also strikes foes with lightning. After we take damage, foes struck by lightning, and again, 50% of the time. This can be useful. I do like having the option of changing the location of the cast. I think we're doing kind of okay on the magic front now that we have that option to charge up our Hex without using any magic, so let's go with this. Apollo is displeased.
I go out of my way to offer you my strength and you refuse? That's not something any self-respecting god can abide.
He is displeased with us.
Nothing personal, cousin. He's angry
Oh,
with
I
me
just
now.
whiffed. Skulls. That's not good. So these circles you're seeing on the ground are what's coming from Apollo. Ooh, that was not enough. And there are more enemies still. Oh, and I didn't really need to do the charge attack, to be honest with you, although I don't even remember what it was, what that does. Apparently it worked, though, so I guess we'll take it. Oh, there's still another wave! Do that. Just hiding behind this while you're doing your attack. Got a bunch of ranged projectiles there. That was not a great time to do that. I will admit that it's not always... I don't really remember with the big axe dudes. Okay, we did finish that encounter, but the big axe dudes who slam down and have the circular AoE, you get hit if you are in that circle when the initial animation happens, but then they stay in that position and there remains a circle on the ground for several seconds. And do you still take damage if you walk into that circle after the initial animation, but while the red circle is still there? It seems so, because that's what I did on that occasion. The damage might be lower, though.
A momentary flash of anger was all. We gods are easily hurt for a bunch of immortals.
He's not wrong. Okay, let's see. If you stand in your cast when they expire, they immediately restore magic. Could be worth doing that now that we have some magic stuff going on, technically. Or now that we have some cast stuff going on. Technically, now that we can cast our cast remotely, it's actually a little bit harder to do this. Although this is when the casts expire, not when they are placed. So that may or may not be a factor. Casts expand in size until they expire. So this is one of the things that I was thinking about. Which does make it easier to freeze more people. Otherwise, after your charge cast expires, rapidly deal damage in the area. The cast is really the thing that we are least looking to charge. It's the special more than anything, and then potentially the attack as well. Although it might be worth testing out exactly what that does, because as I said, I kind of forgot. I guess I do like this. Maybe we wait for it to be higher rarity, so maybe we go for this now, since it is high rarity and it has some value for us.
Before the land was split, mortals would gather and create competitions for the glory of the gods. But now the gods themselves appear to fight over the few remaining scraps.
Yeah, this may be our first time having a Trial of the Gods on the surface.
There's still enough for all of us, I think.
I don't recognize this room layout, which may only happen in Trial of the God situations. Let's just test this real quick. Charged attack. Oh. Okay, that could be worth checking out. Could be worth using that a bit, as it turns out. Does that use all of our skulls as well? I assume it does. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense given the other boons that we have. Can we actually... Hold on. Can we... Oh. Now that's interesting for burst damage right on top of you.
Next vessel.
Okay, we have plenty of money to cash in here. I don't think this is going to be the penultimate room, but it could be. Oh, it is! Wow, okay. We did make it through here a little more quickly than I thought. Sort of. We have taken a fair bit of damage, so getting the healing here is nice. In fact, that basically gets us to full health for this next encounter, so that's pretty nice timing. Why don't we get this first, though, and on the off chance that it interacts with this. I don't remember if Demeter has anything that affects healing stuff, but she might. Charged attack deals more damage, but uses more magic. Okay, well, we just tested the charged attack. Good thing we did, and it is pretty sweet by the looks of things. The freeze duration is incredible and has been a key to success on several previous runs. Gain a barrier that stops one instance of damage in each location, but we prime magic. This also, especially early in the run, can pay off. This, if we make more of a point of doing the charged attack, feels like plus 100% is a lot for what already seems to be something pretty strong. So, alright, we'll give it a go. We'll do this, and then as for whether we need the extra max magic going into the boss encounter, I mean, that's where we would most likely blow through all the magic. And if we are using that charged attack, you know, we have enough gold. We'll do it. That's probably the last of those types of magic upgrades slash other borderline, somewhat questionable shop options.
One last stop. Hey, babe. Just about everybody on Olympus giving you their best, huh? You must be very proud. The gods, they don't agree on much at all.
The thing that concerns me about the charge attack is it feels like it's slow, and because, at least if you're trying to get single target damage with it, you're basically using it point blank, and presumably, whatever you're trying to hit with it is going to hit you while you're doing that charge up. So Eris, for example, especially late on in the encounter when she has the huge damage multiplier, it's not really a hit I want to be taking, and she is also quite mobile.
No, they do not. Yet when the need arises, they can set their differences aside. Something to try with your own kin. You know who really gets what's going on up there? Ares. If anybody's brought that family together, it's the god of war. His cause, even I can get behind.
Well, that must be a new line, because of course Ares only recently got added, and it does make sense. Okay, like that. I tried to line them all up, but I couldn't really do it. I've never heard that line. Oh, this piece of junk. It's also maybe not perfect. She's not here when she's doing this, I guess. It does give us time to charge up the Hex, though. Where is she? Come back down. Oh, now you're down here. Okay, I think she's gonna phase soon, so I kind of don't want to use the Hex right now. Even though the earlier we use it, the more time we have to get the passive effects from it. Oh, she's back. I'm just so bad at dodging airs for some reason.
Here you go. Now watch this.
There we go. Okay, so wait for this. Then we're gonna hit her with the Hex. Oh, she's standing still? Perfect. Oh, that was bad time to do that. That was very bad time to do that. Oof. I walked straight into that, not realizing she was charging something like that up. Ooh, and that too. What? How do I avoid that? It's the closest I can be to her. Therefore, okay, that was bad. That last hit, at least from that one. But I was as close as possible to her. That should have hit as well before she went up. Close as possible to her. Meaning the circle had the smallest possible circumference. And yet that still was not enough to avoid getting hit.
Be right with you.
X is not back yet. In fact, we still need a lot more before it's ready. No, I thought I ran away sufficiently. Nope, no, I don't like you.
There you are.
Is it just all down to... You just need one dodge to be perfectly timed, and that's pretty much it? X is back. Like that, for example. Okay, well, we're about to lose Defiance. Like, how do I time that? It takes so long for her to actually use it, which makes it very unclear when it's actually going to activate. That still hit us. That's frustrating as well. Oh, you're not Eris, for what it's worth. You are dead, though. And now she's about to do her last round of this. There we go. Okay, we use one Death Defiance, which is not ideal, but we've obviously experienced a lot worse in this encounter, and I still think mechanically, It is one of the fights that I'm still worst at, even though we've done it a fair number of times, just because the timing of the dodges, and in some cases the positioning, but mostly the timing of the dodges, I just cannot get a feel for. I'm just waiting forever for her to actually use the skill. It never happens. And then, can I manage to avoid it by just running away? Do I need to have cover in between us? Do I need to dodge? Can distance be enough? It's just... can't quite get that fight down the way I would like to. But okay, we did make it through. This is... and we also did get an extra Death Defiance from, who was it, Cersei? So, basically, you could say, you know, Cersei paid for that Death Defiance there. This is the second to last floor now. We would like to save Luckier Tooth for the final floor, one would think. So that means we've one floor where we have a little bit of flexibility. And if we had a specific god or goddess that we were really looking for, we could use this as an opportunity to pick up their keepsake, although I'm not really sure that we do now. We have... maybe Hephaestus would be priority number one, but not necessarily sure that that's the case. We could take something like, potentially, the Experimental Hammer and just try our hand at getting a random lucky hammer boon that helps us out for a little while, just to make us a little more efficient on this floor. Are there any things that would actually help us long-term? Beyond just a single floor? Like, I think that's a permanent magic upgrade. I don't know that 50 magic is going to be that much of a game changer for us. Guardian loses... I do not remember this. Guardian loses 5% health. You take 15% less damage from Guardians. That could actually be good on the final floor, although we probably would still prefer the Luckier Tooth on that occasion. Healing wouldn't be bad either, and needs 14 encounters to rank up. I don't think we would be able to get that ranked up on this floor alone. How are we doing health-wise? We're not max health. I don't know what the best option is here. Definitely not that. That's pretty funny. Could have used that for just one floor to help our fight against Ares. But I think it might be the Ghost Onion or these Knuckle Bones. Who was this from? Oh, this is Odysseus. Yeah, we've never used these. We have used the Ghost Onion a bit. This we would basically immediately use all of the healing on, or very close to immediately use all the healing on, which I feel like isn't the ideal way to make that work. I think we might try the Knuckle Bones.
The bones.
Okay. Then here. Oh! Okay. So this is the most expensive, or usually the most expensive, rarest item from the shops. At least from Hades 1. I don't think we've seen it in Hades... maybe we've seen it once before in Hades 2. It's pricey, but restoring a Death Defiance is a pretty huge deal. We could do that, and the Path of Stars getting 3 more for our Hex would be pretty nice. So we do still have a bit of a gold surplus. I know I was saying I want to be a little bit more cautious about spending because we have been a bit aggressive, although the final shops before the boss fights have not had that much stuff in them, or at least not that expensive stuff in them, so I think we can get away with being a little bit aggressive there and still being okay.
Made it this far.
Hello. Please stop attacking all of the statues of the Olympians. I don't like it when they do that. Or that. Those guys, I think, have some pretty nasty damage as well. Okay, let's see. Ooh, that is a golden nerve. Oh, hold on. There we go. Little bit more. So I don't think it's that important that we get extra gold at this point, despite us having just talked a lot about how much gold we had. The palm might actually be more valuable. I know the palm basically costs 100 gold, so why not just get 100 gold? But we don't know how efficiently we're going to be able to cash that gold in. And the palm, if we could get it on Volcanic Strike, doesn't affect the damage, it affects the cooldown, but still getting one more of those could be a big deal. Or powering up, you know, any of our other boons. We do have a few others that are pretty effective. I was hoping I was going to get both of them. It was close. To the point where I was wondering if it was going to miss both of them, actually. Okay, I hate you with a burning passion. The cast helps a ton. However, those guys do, I believe, also have a ranged attack, or might only be the super version, the armored version. They can do that. There's more. Oh no. Those guys. They basically look the same to me. I'm realizing now that they technically are not, but like that skill that guy's using needs to be immediately removed from the game. And I talked about it last time. It's absurd how much stronger it is than absolutely everything else. It deals 14 damage per hit, which is less than most other skills, but it has enough range to hit you the entire length of the arena. It fires in quick succession probably at least probably around 10 times before it deactivates. So even if one hit only deals 14 damage, you're gonna very likely get hit by multiple of those. And at that point, you know, it basically is one of the strongest skills in the game. Okay. And there's almost nothing you can do to avoid it, which just feels horrible from a gameplay standpoint. Okay. These are not great options, to be honest with you. Because these are supporting skills that we aren't really looking for as primary sources of damage. That's a one-time burst of 20 more damage. What is the duration of the cast? I think this does add up to more.
My boon grows stronger.
And here is the Death Defiance return from the mini shop. Remember, we don't get those rewards immediately. Ooh. I mean, we have to go Hammer. Life would be nice, don't get me wrong, but Hammer has huge potential, of course. And remember, we can invoke those if we'd like. We have not yet tried that. Maybe we will. Oh, okay. Just a burst of damage there. Oh, luckily I used it on you, because I hate you as well. That's the other thing. It just feels like, in general, there was a time when this was the final floor on the surface. So it made sense. The enemies here were the strongest. It had some very tricky mechanical skills to avoid, and just from a damage standpoint, it hurt getting hit here. However, it is no longer the final floor of the game. And I think that there have been several enemies that have been weakened, potentially a fair number on this floor, but it still feels like they are a little bit over-tuned for this floor. Okay. After your charge, special projectiles fire, they fire back toward us. We saw this previously. We were saying it sounded really good. And that remains very tempting. Attacks gain plus 50% damage and blast size over 0.7 seconds before they explode. Ooh. That's hard to know how good that's going to be for us, because we are very much relying on having a big upfront burst of damage and AoE from our attack. But to put even a brief delay on that burst could make us susceptible to getting hit by enemies who we would otherwise be taking down. Although it feels like that attack burst is not as regularly one-shotting enemies as it was before. I mean, to be honest, it wasn't necessarily one-shotting them even on previous floors. Impressive though it may look. So we want both of these. This we've taken before and is also good, although this I feel like would probably still be better. than you, because this basically doubles the, or has potential to double the damage of our charge special. This is still something we're using a little more often. As for whether the downside comes back to bite us, that I'm not sure of. Okay. So now, we don't yet have anything happening from Hermes, and he is usually very good for speed-oriented stuff, except our whole build is sort of the slow cooldown style, which is not very Hermes-like. So this might be the rare situation where you'd say Hermes may not be that great for us. Would we prefer Apollo? We passed up on his boon that gives what, our cast, the AoE, right? But could there be something else from him that would be useful? We don't have that much from him. The other thing that I'm eyeing now is I'm trying to be a little more mindful of the number of boons we have of each category. And with 5 air boons, 6 I think is a lot. And sometimes a threshold. 4 is sometimes a threshold for the what are they called? These infusion boons. 6 sometimes might be, or of course there are some where it just continues to become more powerful the more boons you have of that type. So we have enough air boons that if we could get an infusion that powers up based on the number of air boons, we could benefit a lot from that. And I think Hermes might be more likely to give air boons. I think Apollo is maybe a mixture of air and predominantly fire. So, I don't know. Let's try Hermes. He is usually very good. As I said, I have some hesitation on this run specifically. Maybe I'm reading into that too much. Making something out of nothing. Hate that. Hate these guys. And that was a horrible place to charge into. Fortunately, I think we actually did not get punished that badly for going in there, but yeah, that could have been horrible. Yeah, so technically those guys look different. Those guys are the spinning ones. But the armor looks a little bit different on the ones that have the ranged attack that I was saying is so busted before. Excuse me. Ooh, don't dash into that. I just knew that that guy was also going to explode. I didn't kill you. Okay, so not sure how this is gonna be for us.
I saw him tumble down the dark side of the mountain to the bottom and go boom. Then later saw him slowly get back up and roar more angrily than ever. But hey.
Yep, so he's back, of course. Let's see. Each time you slay a foe, deal more damage for the next 30 seconds. Kind of interesting. Ooh, charge moves are faster. That's pretty tempting. This would be air. Again, we don't know that we're going to be able to get an infusion that affects air stuff. In fact, I don't even know if it's possible to get multiple infusions on the same run. You might be limited at one. Did we have multiple the last time? I don't remember, honestly. This is the straightforward option, though, for the charge special. And I've not necessarily been immediately activating or invoking these statues, but it feels like I can be kind of aggressive on that front, because yeah, it seems like at least 2 or sometimes more than 2 per room. Now this is going to be a mini boss if we go here. Gives me some hesitation. We've fought one mini boss on this floor twice. It's the big armored dragon dude. We can freeze. We've used that every time we faced him. That does help. We have the bursts of damage. With the attack, he has huge area of effect skills that he runs around with that are hard to avoid if you don't have him frozen to slow him down. So that's the downside. Let's give it a shot. It might be someone different, though. It is someone different. I have no idea who this is. This is going to be challenging.
Must be Talos.
Talos.
Please tell me you're smarter than the other automatons around here.
Uh-oh. Great automaton Talos. Lovely. No idea what we're working with. Those look bad. Those look like they're going to hurt us if we step on them. Ooh, okay. Yeah, I mean, he is the boss version of the types of enemies that I despise. So that's, probably not a great sign. Nope, stop that. I'd like to freeze you. Oh, I briefly walked into that fire there. He can shoot 2 of them. It's basically, same skill that, ow. That Kronos has. He can do it. He can hit us twice from range. That's actually very similar to the way it works with, Kronos. Because you also want to stay far away, actually, for that. Nope. Nope. Assuming that's bad. That was greedy. I tried to turn around and attack him. No! Yep, it looked like we were going to have to use Death Defiance, of course. I hope it's only one that we have to use here. No idea. Yeah, he has a lot of similar skills to Kronos. Wow. A lot of similar skills. Nope, don't do that. Oh, that's so hard to avoid. See, it's twice with it. But that was not aimed in the right direction, which actually does sort of matter. Oh, I tried to dodge away from it. One more of those will kill. Okay. Oh, man. One more of our attacks will kill as well. Okay, so new encounter.
Special delivery.
Special delivery. Oh, I forgot it's extra hex-related stuff, which is very nice. Probably could have been useful on this occasion. Let's see. Over here, hex deals damage in an area at the end point. We saw this one where we get the piercing through foes. Or we could actually make it over here as well. Gains the bonuses of our attack boon. Our attack boon is really strong, and I think that was actually one of our keys to success last time, was we also had a really strong attack boon, just in terms of pure damage. Our attack boon is a little bit different, because it has a bunch of area of effect, so I'm not really sure how that's going to work with the hex. But I feel like we go that route. We'll deal more damage after we do the hex. We'll charge it up a little more quickly. If we could get even more stuff to get even more of these guys, that'd be great. But in this, I'm not as concerned about. And it also requires that we charge up more magic before we can activate. So I think we'll go this route. Yeah, since that was our first time fighting a difficult enemy, you know, I think you kind of just have to accept the fact that you're going to pay the price. Bit of a tax whenever you have an encounter like that. Oh, wait, hold on. This requires that I pay attention. So used to having Freenos do this for us. Boom. Did we get that last one? I'm not sure if we did. But we got a fair bit of Psyche from that.
The numerous defensive capabilities of terrifying Talos, the most powerful of the Olympian automatons wrought by the hands of great Hephaestus himself, includes the power to quite slowly self-repair.
Oh, was he healing? I honestly didn't notice. But also kind of fitting that on the run where we're finally using Hephaestus, that's the time when we see the creation of Hephaestus.
Surely Talos will recall this misunderstanding next time.
Okay, now for the actual boon here. This was higher rarity.
Heat on some occasions, Flower,
because of the boss.
which the forge of Hephaestus here provides.
Ooh, duo?
Perhaps as compensation for the utter lack of warmth between most members of our family.
Duo, let's go.
Everybody on a mountaintop thinks they're so sharp, but this one, she is blunt like my hammer. And some jobs call for a blunt instrument, don't they?
Is this duo boon going to be called Blunt Instrument? I hope so. Room temperature. That they were also talking about that a bit. Okay, let's see. Your blast effects from Hephaestus clear freeze so that you can inflict it again right after. Have we seen this before? It doesn't have the icon next to it, but this I think could be really good for us. So make a point of doing that, and then the attack, and then you can immediately refreeze. Does that deal extra damage? Wait, blast effects from Hephaestus clear freeze, so you can apply them again right after. So technically that doesn't translate to more damage. It's a way of recycling freeze. Okay, I wish it dealt a burst of damage as well. I know there was a previous duo boon with Demeter where we saw that being the case. But we basically paid a Death Defiance for... I'm just gonna let these guys fight each other for a little bit here. We basically paid a Death Defiance for that duo boon, which, you know, take your pick as to whether that's a worthy price or worthy trade-off or not. I'd like my skulls back. Thank you. Yes, I'd like my skulls back. Once again. Ooh, that was closer than it should have been. Oh, there's a ton of these guys. Okay, slowly but surely. Patiently chip away at them. Given how we're on such low health, I'm deliberately trying to take this a little slowly. I know we have the Hex. There's just a whole bunch of these guys, and I think their strength is in numbers. Oh, I got stuck there. Not the end. We can certainly be faster than we were. Oh, there are some armored enemies now. Okay. It's not exactly the same mixture. Still not the end? How many rounds to this encounter are there? I was gonna say. That was insane. Okay. Hold on. It is nice to see you.
Repel that monstrous Typhon thanks to your aid. So it can be done. Only the contemptible thing soon recovered and commenced his climb once more.
Also, I noticed that you said we were able to repel the monstrous Typhon. Now, yes, it was with the assistance of the other gods and goddesses of Olympus, but we were the primary people to take down Typhon. So, don't you try to take credit away from us, okay? Kinda seems like you were making an attempt to do that.
There has to be a way to vanquish Typhon utterly, not just slow him down. But if slowing him's the best result we can achieve for now, so be it.
The so-called father of all monsters. I heard the tales many times, of course, but seeing him, I felt my courage almost falter, which was more frightening even than the thing itself.
Okay, let's see. So, from you, your casts also deal a burst of damage in an area and momentarily make you deflect. Remember, we're using the cast mostly for freeze right now. Dash deals damage and can momentarily deflect, is potentially incredibly good defensively. Whenever you use 90 magic, up to 3 foes are struck by spears from the heavens for 200 damage. I mean, offensively, that sounds great, especially if we use the charge special a little bit more. I slowed down a little bit on using that past few encounters. But I feel like defensively is where we've started to run into some... I mean, we're starting to trail a little bit, or trail off a little bit offensively, because we haven't done that much to upgrade our attack boons or special boons as of late. But defensively, obviously we blew through a Death Defiance recently, so I'm also looking at that as something we'd want to shore up as well. So, how much? We have 120 magic. So basically, use half your magic, and you deal 200 damage, which is a sizable amount, to 3 enemies. I think we might still want to do... I mean, we can reroll if we really want to. We've not yet used one, but I think we'd basically just be looking for a higher rarity version of this boon. So, I think we just settle for this. And it is very good, don't get me wrong.
Beware out there.
Probably Demeter. Although, I think it's closer than you might think. I mean, Demeter, we obviously got the duo Demeter Hephaestus, it is possible to get 2 duo boons, but we would have to have someone else where we have enough boons from them. And let's see. Zeus. I believe it is possible for us to get a duo Zeus Demeter. I don't know what the duo Zeus Demeter is, but theoretically that probably means that would be the best possible thing out of this encounter. Oh my goodness. I hate what I'm seeing here. One of them's down. The other one. And yep, I was afraid we might see that there would be more of the Satyr enemies, who are generally quite tough. Do I have the skulls? I have 2 out of 4. Need to be a little bit careful with the duo boon that we picked up.
Almost finished.
The one that clears the freeze, because it means you're unfreezing the enemy. You can potentially refreeze them, but if you don't, then you've just potentially made them able to hit you more quickly.
In the name of Hades.
What did I say? What did I say? Would be the best option. This is very high rarity, and so actually quite high damage, but let's see. So it is the duo from Demeter and Zeus. What does it do, though? It doesn't have the icon, which suggests that we have gotten this already. Your freeze effects also cause lightning bolts to repeatedly strike afflicted foes for 30 damage every 0.5 seconds. So, not big bursts of damage, but lots of little hits, and 30 damage is something, for sure. This is not bad either, but
Cool
take this.
brisk.
Okay. And now, ooh, not loving the options here. But I think it's probably this, because, again, it does at least give us some extra max life, whereas this might give us armor, but that's not quite as meaningful. Okay, well, I'm just going to let you attack each other for a little bit. Oh, I don't have the skulls. I don't have the skulls. So these are the other guys. These ones have range. They have, like, bigger shoulder pads, for lack of a better way of describing the visual difference between them, because they are quite similar. I'm going to do this. Or I'm going to try to do that. I failed to do that. Ow. Okay. Oh, it was the dragon, I think. The range attack that got me. I was going to say, I wasn't close to any enemies. There. The skulls wanted to invoke you. Really does not want to cooperate with me. So although that does aim for itself, it is actually still important what direction you aim it in, because, oh my god, range. Because it takes a long time for it to turn. So, yeah, this just did not want to get in forward. I tried activating it several times. But yeah, since it takes a long time for the hex to turn, if you aim it in, say, the opposite direction... It's been a while since we've seen any of those effects. If you aim it in the wrong direction, it takes a long time for it to turn around and actually hit anything, at which point you probably missed out on much of the damage. Okay, Palm, I think we have to go for the health here, because we took a few hits in that encounter, and we are fairly low on health. Why are you starting on low health? Assist kill? What? I don't know if I ever remember seeing that. Okay, yeah, there's no way that was going to be everything. That was way too easy. Where are the skulls? Remember, we can deal damage just by running around a little bit. Our Zeus dash got a little while back, and we did pick up the Athena dash as well. More so for defensive purposes than offensive purposes. And beat you. get rid of you. Although you are not an enemy we want to be running up to close range. I do see this. I don't really want that. Not in the under the current circumstances, I don't think. That is pretty insane. Also, another encounter with 4 waves in it, I think. Tried to aim that in the right direction so that, yes, it would hit right from the onset.
A gift.
So, on net, might have just barely been net positive on health, but not by much. Definitely not doing this. I know we have a shop here, but we could potentially use a little bit more gold for that. No, we're going into the shop with plenty of gold still, and this might be the penultimate room. It looks like it is. That's kind of unfortunate timing from a health standpoint. It's a good time to pick up some more gold, though. Yeah, I was kind of hoping we were going to see a well-timed healing option here. I'm afraid not, though. This does not give max health when you purchase it from the shop, I remember. Or at least on one prior occasion. Maybe that's changed via a more recent patch. But if that's our only reason for picking it up, then that is not really a great reason for taking that. I think we probably go Palm first. Because we might want this to just get the cooldown a little bit faster, or get more damage from the charged attacks here. But again, the timing of this is tricky. So even if you do make a point of doing it, I feel like I've been hit almost every time I've gone for it. So this does not directly translate to damage. Not exactly, at least. Yeah. I think we might still go for this. I mean, yeah, at times it's the retrieving the skulls that actually is more so the thing slowing us down than this recharge is, but I feel like once you get to 5 seconds, that's pretty much as low as you're realistically going to need it to be. So, I think we still take this. And you've been great with giving us duo boons. I don't know that we are eligible for any more, though. I think we are not eligible for any other ones. I could be wrong. We are, I think, technically eligible for... We should be eligible for a legendary boon from you would be the best in all likelihood, but don't want to be greedy here. Now, we do still have one reroll left, so if we don't like anything we see here, we could swap things around. Whenever you gain resources from location, restore some health, gain a little bit of health restoration now. I mean, honestly, that, despite being a boon you would usually want to get early on, could be worth considering since we are on low health and we're about to go into a boss encounter. Otherwise, freeze duration, even if it's just common rarity, is not bad, but you could argue for a reroll here and just see if you can get higher rarity versions of this, or... I mean, these two are not bad, so I'm a little reluctant to use a reroll here, but we're so far into the run and we haven't used it yet, so I feel like, you know, if we wait any longer, that we're just going to miss any opportunity at all to do it. So let's try rerolling.
Sure, why not?
Gain a barrier that stops 1 instance of damage in each location. Prime 10 magic. I mean, it is helpful, yes. This is a higher rarity version of that other boon. Every clear encounters, random boon gains rarity. We got this earlier. I know we did see, I think, the common rarity version of this, but it was when we had a duo boon, so we went with a duo instead. 1 instance of damage against bosses is not a huge deal. For other encounters, it is quite useful, and it's fairly late in the run to get it. Might just go for the freeze duration. It is a little bit longer of a bonus to freeze than it was before. And I think we're probably passing on this, because we have also confirmed / reminded ourselves there is a super shop just before Typhon. So if we've loaded up on a whole bunch of gold, then there is still a way to benefit from that. But this is not going to be easy going up against Prometheus here. So our single target damage is not amazing. And defensively, we have a little bit of stuff working in our favor. We did gain a Death Defiance, lose a Death Defiance, regain that Death Defiance, lose that Death Defiance again. So right now we're sitting on 4, which is still a good amount. But we'll see how we fare, because we are not on very high health right now.
Prometheus.
The monster Typhon isn't liable to stop, you know. He has your family on the back foot, cowering in your Lord Uncle's palace. Exactly where we want them.
Oh, okay. Speaking a little bit more of the plan.
A suitable distraction I can take advantage of, just as soon as you're out of the way, along with your bird.
You're telling me your plans. Now we're truly getting to know each other.
Oh.
I almost regret what's about to transpire.
I mean, you say this as if you don't kind of sort of already know what our plan is. Big burst. Okay, if we can get you frozen, there's actually a lot of potential damage there that maybe I was not giving us credit for. Okay, try to get this stuck in the corner.
Very well.
Try to get you in this corner here. So the refreeze could be key. I'm gonna wait on the Hex, I think, until his first memory phase, because we're getting a little bit close to that. That was just barely close enough to get through it, and I technically got the resist. I blew through like all of our resistances there. Okay, here's the memory. Okay, hold on.
Get back here.
Not top. Middle. Top. Middle, middle, top. Oh, I didn't quite aim that the way I wanted to. It can still add up to be pretty decent if we can truly shotgun him. And if we can keep him in the circles. Okay, but I hate these friends. Oh, that was actually Prometheus who hit us there. We are about to lose the Death Defiance, but that was going to be the case pretty much no matter what. Given how we were going in with low health. We have Hex, we do not. Ooh, okay, back to this. Middle. Not middle. Bottom. Top. Middle. Not middle. Bottom. Top. Which is hard to... Okay, that I take issue with. I knew we had to go there, and yet I couldn't get there in time. Although we actually get the healing... We got the healing from one of our previous boons. I should not have gotten it there, but... From a huge hit. So we heal back a percentage of the damage that we took. Which, given how that was a huge chunk of damage, was actually a very significant amount of healing. Oh, thank you, please. What just happened? Can anyone describe to me what just happened? Because I don't know. Don't understand what that was. Oh, that was... What the heck? That also did not go where I expected that to go. Here's a little deflection action from the cast. Or, rather, from the dash. There we go. We did use a Death Defiance, yes.
It still could not prevent it, no matter what I tried.
But as I said, I think that was pretty much an inevitability, given how we were going in with like 70 health.
This changes nothing.
And at this point, I think we are at the threshold where
See you later.
defeating Prometheus is basically what dictates a... I mean, this is overly simplistic, of course, but defeating Prometheus is kind of, sort of, our threshold for what dictates a quote-unquote good run.
Not even the intense heat rising from the mountain's central hearth can entirely dispel the chill here in the air. A gathering storm, not wrought by gods, but something else.
Typhon.
Something friendly?
If only. Because, yeah, we know we are not going to defeat Typhon every time we encounter Typhon, and in fact, we might not get to Typhon every time we make it to the final floor, because there are some very difficult mini... I don't even know if you really call them mini-bosses, that lead up to him. So I think all that means that basically, again, it's overly simplistic, but in some ways, defeating Prometheus is sort of the threshold for what is or is not a good run. We were using knuckle bones there. Honestly, I didn't notice that much, but it's kind of subtle, the effect there. I suppose we use the Death Defiance, but we're going to get one back by using the Luckier Tooth now. So we're doing a whole bunch of stuff with those Death Defiances. There's a chance we might see the option to buy another one back. No, we do not, but there are some interesting options here. So again, remember, there is a super shop just before Typhon, so there is potentially reason to save money for that. However, of course, whatever you get there, you are only able to use for Typhon, and it doesn't help you at all on the difficult floor that leads up to Typhon. So getting healing after 2 encounters, I think that's gonna be just before the first mini-boss. So it's assuming we take some damage leading up to... we take some damage in the first 2 rooms, which I think is pretty likely. This probably gives us most, if not the full value of the healing, and would be well-timed. This then would presumably come just after the first mini-boss, and this would come just before the first mini-boss. I think we're taking all these.
Looking forward to this.
And I don't think we expedite the delivery on any of them. Because again, I think it just gives us a little more money to work with if we do make it to the room just before Typhon. And this, I assume, does not count as an encounter? I honestly don't remember. I think it has to have enemies to count as an encounter.
The father of all monsters, the bringer of storms.
Alright, we beat him last time. The build definitely is not as strong as the build we had last time, but we beat Typhon by a sizable margin last go-round, so can we get a closer but still successful run this time? We shall see. Oh, that's basically a mini version of the mini-boss that we're going to fight very shortly. And yes, the spine, aka the tail of Typhon, that was rude, does make appearances. Little pokey projectiles popping up when I think all the enemies are dead. Can't remember, Typhon's tail can still hit us even right now. Potentially. Ow. Not really sure what these enemies do, to be honest with you. It is nice, though, when the enemies are right on top of us, we immediately recollect all of our shells. Hold on, just waiting to see if we're gonna get Typhon. Nope. Okay. Here's the healing. Okay, it is slight overheal, but we'll take it. And then here, we were eyeing a few other interesting things. Let's see. We could make it so... Now we're probably thinking specifically about Typhon when it comes to... and to a certain extent, I guess, the other mini-bosses. So piercing through foes, it just doesn't feel like that's as big a deal. Typhon during ads phases, sure. But outside of that, it's just not going to make that big of a difference. Deals damage in an area at the end point, I feel like is more likely to give us value. We can't make it to the end here, nor am I sure that we would want to. It takes much longer to charge up the Hex in that case. During Hex, we take less damage, and then the Hex damage at the end point. And then either more power over time, or we take less damage. I think we go here. Oh, or we could go here. More power. Okay, either way, it's more power over time. I guess we take this one on the off chance that there is more Selene stuff that we get later on. We at least get the option of taking Trinity at the end, because we get these in usually chunks of 3 points. And then, is there anything that increases the duration of it? I thought there was. because it only deals damage for 2 seconds. So, has plus 40 power over the course of every 1 second doesn't add up to that much of a bonus. But if you increase the duration, and you have several of these ones that increase the power over time, then suddenly those become much more meaningful. I mean, it does hit multiple times per second, I suppose, so in that way it's a little more meaningful.
Seleni's grace.
Well... Okay. Speaking of which... How are we feeling? Hold on. Can we get any sort of duo or legendary boons from Apollo? Because that might be the deciding factor. Zeus, Demeter, Zeus. And now, I am not sure that we... I don't think we can get a legendary. We might be able to get a duo with Zeus, Demeter, or Hephaestus plus Apollo, but don't quote me on that. Whereas this gets us up to the Trinity, which, again, may or may not be that helpful. Otherwise, you take other options. Can we see all the details here? Again? Yes. Oh, okay, nice. So, never heard this music before. That was weird. Sounded like a Christmas carol with all the bells. So either we go to Trinity and get some quicker okay, the charge up helps a bit, but that's still not going to counteract the fact that it costs 90 more magic to use this. During the Hex, we take less damage. I mean, the Hex just isn't long enough for that to be a huge factor, so I feel like you're more likely going to end up going for passive stuff like more power or take less damage, better charge up. I feel like better charge up is really the biggest thing, so you do that for charge up, and then there and there for more charge up as well, so you can spam it more often because that plays into more of the purpose. We have how many of? Is it just 2? We have 3 purposes, so that means we get 15% more damage every time we use the Hex for the remainder of the encounter, which for a long encounter like Typhon could start to add up. That's not insignificant, and then also charging it up more quickly in general just to deal more damage with it directly. I feel like I am leaning this way.
Higher up.
This is going to be a mini boss. I assume it's going to be this guy. Yep. Ooh, I kind of got stuck there. Have the skulls. Oh, that is the wrong idea. Yeah, don't just use the cast, or rather use the special in passing without giving it much thought, because that will put you right on top of the boss. Which is probably not something you want to do. My goodness. So that's the other thing, is at this point, last time we fought this guy, in the previous run, we had the infusion boon that gave us the huge, it limited his damage at 20 per hit. And we're starting to realize just how big of a difference that is, because he deals ginormous damage, as we suspected was the case, but we didn't really have the confirmation we were looking for. Ooh, what? He hit us how many times? I used the Hex there. Apparently was not the right time to do that, and I got trapped in the corner there. That has happened before against this boss. We need to be mindful of that. We're close to having to use Death Defiance, it probably will happen at this rate. We only had one. Can't see what he's doing. Is this what turns into his charge attack? Frequently gets me. He is a big burst, but still, burst isn't bursty enough. That's honestly our biggest burst. No, it's not enough. The skulls. There we go. It's the Zeus dash is what got him. Oh, more bells. What's up with all the bells?
What a brute. Cheers, Hermes.
Okay. Get this. Which we've never gotten before, so I actually have no idea what that is. We did not take the Demeter boon that gives us the healing when we use those, or when we collect any resources. Would have been helpful on that occasion, of course.
Endless horrors spewed from Typhon are of every shape and size, including relatively sinister and larger ones recently fallen to the princes of the underworld's wrath.
I'll slay them all.
Yeah, that guy is no joke. Okay, we get this, and as we were saying, oh, it's 5? For a split second, I didn't want to rely on this being bigger than the usual one, but technically, since this was a mini boss, the normal boons would be higher rarity. So I was wondering if there was some equivalent sort of effect on the Selene stuff, where usually we would only get 3 per encounter, but since this is sort of like a higher rarity Selene boon, we're getting 5 instead. That's actually a pretty big deal. So we can definitely get the passive-oriented stuff we were thinking of, and we could potentially also get Trinity. But it's a matter of how much of a downside is that extra charge cost. I mean, the fact that we have... I swear, more and more instruments are being added to this song in the background, and it's stressing me out. I think that's the idea. I'm like, is something happening while we're allocating these points? I don't know. So I think we take this in large part just for that, but it also would help to enable the Trinity, and that means we'd miss out on... No, I think that we're not missing on any of the ones that we were planning to take. I mean, the thing that Trinity could work really well with is we have several of these intensities, and I think we pick up... Do we pick up one more along the way? No, we don't, but since we're basically getting 3 beams, plus the area damage at the end point, and everything is getting stronger over time, I think that can start to add up quite a bit. Piercing, okay, maybe that's not a huge... We kind of accepted the fact that that was not going to be a huge deal, but it's mostly just a means to get to the faster charge up, which I think is kind of necessary since we're significantly increasing the cost when we go for the Trinity. We could also get that. That'd be awesome, but we're not going to be able to spam quite as much.
Selene's hidden strength.
Okay, and then you turn to a random Zeus boon. The cast? No, we need that to remain our primary source of freeze. Strikes emit chain lightning that bounce 4 times, but we prime magic. It's a lot of magic. We do have a fair bit of lightning effects, though, so there is a lot of chaining potential. Damage from charge moves immediately activates blitz effects and makes them stronger. 25% stronger. We do have a strong blitz effect on our special, I believe. So... if we have time to charge them up, which is not always the case, and also the fact that the charge special puts us right in front of the enemies, at least against the one we just fought, meant not always the best against bosses. Typhon, I think you actually kind of do, or at least I like getting in his face for close range damage, so might actually be okay for that. Maybe we do take this. Okay. We go up. We, of course, will have one more mini-boss before Typhon, and we learned a bit about how best to fight that, but these encounters leading up to those mini-boss fights are no joke either. Oh, yeah, over here. There's the tail. It does its thing. No! I dashed! I wasn't sure if it was going to make it all the way across the entire length of the arena, but I anticipated that it might, and I dashed, but somehow still got stuck, and it didn't count as avoiding that. That's frustrating. We did heal off some of that damage, but obviously we can't really afford to be taking any hits at all right now. Ooh, no, that's why. That's why you don't use the special, the charge special, or any special for that matter, absent-mindedly or just, you know, recklessly. He says as he does just that. Because these guys have huge close-range damage, and they will absolutely punish you with it. Okay, now this will be the mini-boss. We had to use Death Defiance there. That's so bad. Okay, so the big thing here is that we've learned when it does its big stomp-like move, there are two circles, the likes of which we saw in the previous room, or we only saw one in the previous room, but one that starts from the stomp location and one that starts from the edge of the map, and they both go in opposite directions. So you have to dodge both of those, but if you do, that is then the largest window in which to attack from close range. And just about anything else, you're gonna need to, any other time. That was so unbelievably stupid. I did not realize he dealt damage when he first drops down like that. But for anything except that, you're gonna be doing a lot of running around. It's gonna be very hard. It's gonna be very hard to, it'll be very hard to... Okay, so you dodge that, and then there's another one here. Dodge that, then you attack. That's how you do it. That's the big window. Otherwise, for the most part, you're running. So it's hard to do much damage. There's Stomp. Dodge one. Dodge other direction.
No shells.
Ooh. Let me get you here. When you're chasing behind us? No. I should have waited for the Stomp. I technically do get a little bit of value from the Zeus dash. This just makes such a huge difference, understanding that that's how you want to treat that that move. Yeah, I think you're doing a Kamehameha. Given how I don't see you. You appear to be on the far side. What?! I thought that's how you dodge it! That was the move that I expected, and I thought that's how you dodged it. We're also about to use another Death Defiance from just these things. Wow! Think you're gonna stall? No? Maybe not? Now you are. Now you do this. Damage is huge. I don't recognize that move. Oh, it's because you're making these. Which are a huge problem because we don't have enough health to survive any of them, I don't think. I don't know what you're doing. Probably a Kamehameha. Which we've established, you have to dash through. Just being on the opposite side of the map is insufficient, it seems. Which I did not realize before. The skulls keep on showing up on the other side of him, even from that point-blank range, which is really annoying because it means I do actually need to run over to retrieve them. That was close. Good timing, or wish it was just a little bit sooner than that. Good. Okay, hold on. That was almost nasty location for that. So go to the other side. It's just a little bit harder to get all the skulls back. Oh, you're still coming for us. Stomp? Question mark? Oh, Kamehameha? What are you doing? I was not sure what that was. That's a stomp. No, it's not. It's you going down. Okay, we did have to use with Death Defiance, although we came very close having to use a second. Thankfully, we avoided that. I just want to make sure that the other guys go away. I did I did mine both of the things over here mid-fight, which obviously is not something you should do. However, I think we did get hit once, maybe twice when we were doing it, and I shouldn't have. But the enemy was on the opposite side of the arena, and this enemy has several attacks that take a long time to activate, so, you know, maybe it wasn't that crazy. Let's see, gain bonus max life based on your magic limit. Our magic is 190. So we'd gain almost 80 health. That's pretty significant. Start of each encounter, we are impervious for 8 seconds. We saw this previously, and it would have helped on this encounter. So I did not realize the boss deals damage right as he spawns in. That might have saved us some grief there. But blast effects also vent foes, which means after 4 seconds they take a burst of 500 damage. My question here, which I don't know the answer to, but is critically important, is does that stack if we hit them with multiple rounds of Hephaestus? Because we have the potential to shotgun big time. And if so, if we're hitting with all four... if all 4 skulls can separately apply vent, that's 2,000 damage, which is unbelievable. The imperviousness, I mean, it gives us a window at the very beginning of the Typhon encounter, but I feel like this was more significant against these 2 other mini-bosses, and obviously every other encounter before that would have added up as well. I think it's really one of these 2. Defense, offense. How many Death Defiances do we have remaining now? Not many, I can tell you that. This does mean subsequent Death Defiances are worth more, except for... Well, we can see we have 2, okay, but one is the Luckier Tooth, which is a fixed 101 healing, I think. Whereas the other one is based on our health. We go straight to Typhon here, don't we? Or the Super Shop and then Typhon? I don't think there are there any other basic rooms in between? Honestly, that's very significant because we might, if we're trying to not use that one of those Death Defiances before getting to Typhon, we might need the extra health that comes from this. This seems like it has so much potential, but we might kind of have no choice but to do this. I wish we could take both. I really wish we could take both. Okay, okay. Maybe then the vent would have been the better option because we do go straight to the Super Shop.
Almost to the top.
We also don't know what we're going to get here.
Hey,
Hermes.
Hello, Hermes.
Don't fret too much about Pop's palace up there, Old Typhon's big and strong and all, but he can't crush what he can't see. Well, not as easily as if he could see it.
That's not entirely assuring. So, Lord Uncle Zeus and the rest have concealed the seat of power, leaving Typhon to direct his fury at this fortress.
Okay.
Yep, more or less. They figured that if we have to take on Typhon, and we do, this is the perfect spot. After all, it's a long way down from the summit. A quick way down, mind.
Okay. Well. So, we've 300 and a bit monies. Seeing if there are any golden urns that might change the math here a bit. So Super Palm basically uses all of our money. If we go heal plus the heart, that's 215. That means we could still afford you. That's probably the right choice. Healing is, I mean, it's pretty necessary. It's basically 200 healing. That's, I mean, technically speaking, if we do this first, the healing is worth more, isn't it? Because the healing is based on a percentage. No, it might cap out. Alright, well, we do that. We're going to be almost max health by the time we get in there. Get a little bit of armor to go along with that. And that means our first Death Defiance, at least, is going to give us a lot of health back. The Luckier Tooth one is worth a fair bit less than that. What have we learned, / what do we need to focus on for Typhon here? So I think the Hex, honestly, is going to be our primary source of damage. We have now upgraded it to the point where it's very potent. I think the Charge special is a little bit safer against Typhon than it was against some of the other encounters, because actually being right up close to Typhon is oftentimes the best place to be, it seems. Obviously, Freeze plus the big burst from our attack. We will have to retrieve / wait for the cooldown at times. Hopefully that's not as tricky as it was at times in other encounters. Other things to consider, or other boons that we're forgetting about that we could stand to benefit from focusing on a bit. A little bit of damage from dashing. It's not bad. If we stand in our casts when they expire, we can restore magic. So technically speaking, we do have a source of magic restoration if we really get aggressive spending magic and trying to set up the Hex. So as long as we basically cast on Typhon and stand next to Typhon while we're attacking him, that shouldn't take too much direct effort. What else? This was the thing that has healed us on a few occasions. Whenever we take damage? Okay. It's functionally giving us 30% more health. Just about. Anything else that we want to pay particular attention to? Charge attack is powerful as well, and with Typhon, it might be easier to load up on... Yeah, you know, charge attack on Typhon from point blank might be the move, technically speaking, rather than the charge special, or potentially in addition to it. I honestly haven't noticed this very much. Or at least I haven't had the time to stop and notice it, because we got it fairly late on when we were in difficult encounters. Charge moves are faster. We want to Hex more or less as often as possible. We do get 15% improved damage for the rest of the encounter once we've done it. We do have some auto charge up on the Hex, but you also want to be mindful of, if the Hex is our primary source of damage, which, as I said, I think it probably will be, you don't want to do it right before the boss is about to phase, otherwise you're going to miss out on most of that damage. So if we can drop this, if we can drop the Hex right as Typhon is going into that stunned phase after Zeus strikes him down, that's probably the best possible time. Can we squeeze in one before that? I don't know. We might kind of just need to wait for that before we do it. The dash is helpful defensively with that deflect. Not this one, the other duo. I have some... I don't know how useful this has really been for us. I feel like I think there was one half-decent alternative to it, and that might have actually been preferable. It also basically made cold storage useless. Largely meaningless. These are all Hex things, which again, Hex is a very big deal at this point. We do take less damage during the Hex, but again, the Hex doesn't last very long, so that's not that big of a deal. And charge moves, immediately activate Blitz. Yeah, I mean, charge moves, you don't need to give that much active thought, but it does help. Okay. Alright. Let's head in. Unless there's something else. No, we definitely can't afford anything else. Definitely can't afford anything else. So let's go. Let's do it. Here goes nothing. As I said, I don't think we're going to succeed against Typhon every time, and we don't know how much health Typhon has. But our build is not as strong as it was last time. That was the charge attack. So was that. Okay, that was not great timing. Oh, he's blowing us away. I did not remember that being a thing. Okay, I did opt to use that immediately, in part because we did aggressively use our magic early on. Don't remember what happens if we destroy these. I assume we want to. Where are the skulls? That's not where I wanted to aim those. I'll tell you that much. Do this again. This might not be good timing because Zeus might be coming down soon. Don't know. But I think the Hex is doing some work for us. We are taking a fair bit of damage there, though. Oh, I don't know if we've gotten hit by that before, to be honest with you. Now we know it deals a truckload of damage. Okay, that is another vacuum cleaner-like effect. Zeus? Oh no, the Hex is not ready yet. It's not quite ready. Now it is. Okay. Whew. That was the window I really wanted to make sure we could hit. Okay. Adds face. Oh, he just hit us directly with that. This. Get rid of that. No, it didn't get rid of it. It spawns the ads. And they are powerful ads, is what that does. Okay, this is back. I'm going to use it not so much for Typhon, which may not be the right move, but I also just aimed it poorly even for the ads. Now, oh my, 100 damage? The camera is also not helping, to be honest with you. Ow. Really just want to get rid of these ads. Oh my god. Shotgun that he's using. Shotgun effect. Piercing helps on that occasion. Where are our skulls right now? Do we have them? We do. Okay, maybe that wasn't the right move. Why did we also basically have no health as well, despite having just used that Death Defiance? What? We got cheated out of that. This is pretty much our only chance. Is if this kills. And it did? No way. That was so close. Oh, 71 health, and we might have technically still been healing after the fact. Oh, I should have looked at some of those other stats. We get this.
A bit too close.
The Hex 100% carried, no question. Good thing that we did invest as much in it as we did, and there was one Hex that I pretty much wasted because I just kept on getting attacked by all the ads and wanted to get rid of them, but I didn't aim it at the ads, really, so it was not very good at doing anything. Yeah, we saw that he definitely does a ton of damage with some of those hits.
The fortress of the gods starts to relent. Perhaps because its monstrous source is nowhere to be found.
At least for now.
And we saw, at least with some of those hits, he can do 100 damage, and one of them might have dealt 80 as well, so I think there were 2 different hits that could have potentially one-shot us. But our second to last Death Defiance, maybe we got hit 2 times in quick succession, one of which killed us and triggered the Death Defiance, and the other which lowered us down to low health. But I just noticed that almost immediately after triggering the Death Defiance, we were on almost single digit, or at least low double digit health. So that seemed really odd to me. Maybe there was just a crazy amount of burst damage.
A massive undulating monster brought to heel. And for the Princess of the Dead, such victories are to be savored, but only for a bit.
Well, there we go. This, at least as of right now, is as far as you can go up to the top. And that is our second time defeating Typhon. I was not sure that we had what it was going to take to get the job done, and it was very close.
That's the way it is.
But we did it.
A satisfactory result that time, wouldn't you say?
Indeed. Even if we did not bring Freenos. I'm sorry, Freenos.
Titan of foresight. Yeah.
Yes, I remember last time when we came back, it seemed like Dora actually knew Prometheus in some way, and we suspected maybe Dora was actually the human that Prometheus originally gave fire to, and that was what made the gods mad at Prometheus. Otherwise, maybe there's some other history that I'm not familiar with, some other myth, or Supergiant just came up with something new to flavor that dynamic between them. We can brood. I don't think we were allowed to last time. I mean, we won the run. We have to brood, right?
Hey, is everything all right with you, Dora? I didn't mean to upset you with talks of Titans when last we spoke.
I'm good, Mel. I don't get mad much anymore, really, and don't get weirded out either. It's just something about the name Prometheus. It's like it meant something to me.
Yeah.
But Prometheus was imprisoned for eons prior to this point. If you remember him, it's from a while back.
Did we hear at one point that Dora was one of the first shades to ever end up at the crossroads? Or am I making that up? Because that would make sense then. This would have been a very long time ago that Prometheus did this, so if Dora was on the receiving end of receiving the fire, then yeah, that would be a long time ago.
I'd be ancient history.
You would be.
But I hardly remember yesterday. Don't know how come I'd remember something from that long ago. Not that I do remember anything from then, except...
Oh?
Except what?
Do tell.
Just a feeling, but it isn't great.
Oh, man, Dora. Leaving us on a cliffhanger. Who was that who just said, good morning, everyone?
Interesting.
Okay, I was just wondering if there's anything related to Typhon, but of course, that's our second time defeating Typhon, and now with a new weapon as well. Well, yep, that is a pretty good sign that we're gonna see Eris.
Great job last night, babe. Is that what you want to hear? Well, tough, because you won't be hearing it from me. Other than that one time.
I was gonna say, I was surprised you did say that.
As much as I probably would appreciate the occasional bit of encouragement from you now that you mention it, Eris, I know it's not your tendency. I was just checking up on you.
Also, another thing, just reflecting upon the previous run, is how many death defiances did we gain, lose, regain? It was a bit of a mess in that regard, so that probably was, I mean, outside of what turned out to eventually become a very powerful hex by the end, the fact that we had so much of the death defiant stuff working in our favor, that is probably the lifeline that made the key difference there.
Aw, thanks. Whenever
those two things combined, really.
It's like you're putting a knife right in my heart. Though, good to know you'll come around and check up on my corpse.
Oh, don't be so dramatic.
Shut up!
Was that Eris who said shut up like that? The delivery was hilarious. I wish I didn't run away so quickly. Darn it. Okay, but yes, so now we have, with two different weapons, defeated Typhon, and as I was saying, that I don't know, I have sort of mixed feelings about the skulls, because it feels like it either goes wonderfully or goes horribly, and obviously it did end up working out there that time round, but that might have been our first successful skull run. Say that 5 times fast.
Nightmare on offer.
Ooh. Okay, oh, we can sell some fish. Hold on, we might be able to purchase some things here. Yeah, wasn't the neckbiter was from the first floor, but it's almost worth the same amount as this squid, which was from the second floor? So maybe this is a high rarity one, and this is a low rarity one, and that's why they're so similar in value.
Take care of this one, please.
But even with that, still can't afford the big stuff, like Stardust or Nightmare. Not unless we were to... We could sell some of the rubbish that we just picked up.
Rubbish for recycling.
Recycle it. That's still not going to be enough. It'll get us up to 400. Was it 600 for the cheaper one, Stardust? Yeah, it's 600. So this is the interesting thing. It does actually... These are all of our resources. And it does actually give you this icon here, this needed resource icon to tell you there are still some crafts that you have not completed that use this. Which is helpful, for sure, for now. The problem is this deceptive? Because, the game is not fully out for release yet, and there may be other recipes that will later get added that use things like myrtle, limestone, and glass rock. So even if we don't need this much of these things right now, might we after a later update? Maybe. I mean, I guess it's not urgent that we have any of these things, so, you know, if eventually a new update comes out and now you do need glass rock, limestone, or myrtle again, we have time to collect those things. Now, is this 40 per glass rock, or is that 40 across the 20 that we have acquired? Because that is a significant difference. Well, it must be per, because otherwise that'd be some pretty crazy math on the limestone. Let's just try selling one of these.
Some more recycling.
Yeah. Okay. So we could do just that and get enough already. Oh, wait, what? Did I not confirm or something? Why does it say 600 plus when I go here and then as soon as I tab out it doesn't do that? Is there a confirm button somewhere? Oh, recycle all. No. It says we still need these ones. Okay, and it organizes it looks like. So it puts the ones you still need at the bottom and the ones you can afford to sell at the top. So I'm gonna close out. What? Excuse me? What happened? And now by closing out... No, now we're back to 600 when we go here. I'm very confused. That feels like a bug. Maybe there is. Recycle all, recycle. I assume that just means, you know, recycle is what I'm pressing to sell the item that I'm highlighting. Recycle all would be recycle absolutely everything you see here, so that's not what we're looking to do, and so that's not a confirm button. Which is basically the thing that it would seem like we're missing, but in the absence of that, it just seems like a bug. So I think we just abandon ship, except the fact that we may have just lost a few of our glass rocks for nothing, and just cut our losses there.
So now Olympus has to deal with Typhon, huh? Wonder if Kronos made a deal with him or just revived and set him loose. Either way, a plan like that takes a lot of guts.
And we're still not really sure how Typhon plays into Kronos' plan, other than just generally causing chaos and making things difficult for the gods and goddesses, because it's not clear how much of an alliance there is between Typhon and Kronos. Also, Nemesis was not here last time, so this is our first time talking to Nemesis after a successful Typhon run.
You sound rather impressed. I'm certain Kronos would welcome you into his ranks as well if you just tell him how you really feel.
I'm curious how she responds to that.
Hit a nerve? Fine. Doesn't change the fact our enemy outsmarted us. So no need to keep wasting your time up top. Wait, you're not going to try and fight that thing, are you?
Step or two behind, Nemesis.
You really think I'm going to leave my family on Olympus to face that monster on their own? You don't know me at all.
So that's kind of a subtle thing. Well, obviously, Nemesis says this as if we have done very little Typhon fighting, if any at all, and yet we have defeated Typhon twice, which is kind of strange, and ideally, of course, Nemesis would not be saying that at this time. So, the game, at least in Hades 1, and certainly in Hades 2, it might work a little bit differently, but has a system through which it decides what dialogue to give you whenever you talk with someone, and basically prioritizes. There are multiple different things that given NPC might say to you, but it prioritizes those things and shows you the highest priority one based on whatever has been happening most recently that is most significant. So, for example, defeating Typhon once or twice would probably be a pretty high priority, and therefore you would think that talking to almost anyone they would comment on Typhon and defeating Typhon, whereas this is much more so an early conversation that you would expect to have with Nemesis when you know that Typhon exists, but you have not yet defeated Typhon. So it seems like this probably only happened on this occasion because Nemesis, for whatever reason, was not there last time round. So it's just sort of this odd series of circumstances in which their system for deciding what dialogue to give you really did not work very well in this instance.
Nice knowing you anyway. A real pleasure.
Good hunting. So there you were, alone atop the rain-soaked mountain, when out of the dark came a roar so deafening it shook Olympus to its roots. And with it came Typhon himself, more vengeful even than before. What then, goddess?
Like, take what Nemesis just said and compare it to what Odysseus is talking about here. Odysseus is directly addressing how we confronted Typhon. Not that Typhon is some theoretical foe that seems far beyond us, who we can't even imagine ever trying to fight or defeat.
We fought. I prevailed. Oh, blast. I was supposed to weave a yarn. He kept trying to crush me with his chin, but I evaded and clambered to the top of his head, where I drove the Sister Blades Limb and Oros into his brain.
This is actually also referencing our previous run, though. Not the one we just did, from the run from the previous video, because those were the blades that we used that time. This time, we used the skulls.
Oh, quite gruesome at the end.
So Odysseus is catching up as well.
My only criticism, if I may, is that all too many tales involving huge monstrosities resolve that way. What if he were to swallow you whole, only for you to cut yourself out of his gullet?
That is a thing that has happened in a few myths. So Odysseus is not coming up with that out of nowhere.
I was just getting to that part.
We welcome you.
That is, that's how the gods defeated Kronos, was it not? They tricked Kronos into eating the gods, and then they sliced him apart from the inside. Right? I think?
'Tis a wonder that your mountain relatives are still able to be of benefit to you whilst having Typhon at their gates. Do they have any sort of strategy to stop him, do you know?
I mean, we have defeated him twice now.
They're working together to drive him back, along with the Titan's legions. But if they have a greater plan to put an end to the assault, they've not yet let on.
The other thing is that, you know, some of this may just be because it's a bit of a testament to how quickly you are progressing through the game. If you fly through and, you know, say on your very first run ever, in this case you would obviously be going down into the underworld, but if you defeated Kronos on your very first run, then obviously a whole bunch of things are happening for the first time there, and it's going to be a while before all of the people in town can talk to you about all those things. So I suppose it's sort of a reflection of how quickly we've taken down Typhon here, and now done so 2 times, no less.
Let us assume, then, that they've no such plan. However, I'm beginning to think that the father of all monsters may yet figure into ours. Collect what samples that you can from him.
We have now collected a couple of samples.
I shall, Headmistress.
We also got some resources on the summit that we had not previously seen. Yeah, but right now, only thing we can get here is the Dissolution of Time, which I still suspect may not be possible until the game gets out for full release. I think it's going to remain question mark, question mark, question mark. And here... Shadow Extraction is probably still the one that we'd be most interested in doing, but we would need one more fabric to do it. Actually surprised that the delivery has not happened yet. That Dora, who briefly said something as we dashed past her. There also definitely are more familiars that we've yet to unlock. I'm not entirely sure where or how we do that. So either completing more... so what are logical thresholds that we may not have reached yet? Defeating Kronos and or Typhon more times. That could be it. Just doing more runs and progressing through more conversations with people in town. That could also be it. Having more of a bond with some of the people in town could also be a thing. So, like, using ambrosia, twin lures, bath salts, all those types of things, because we basically use nectar, and not much beyond that to build relationships with people. So maybe for some reason you need to do that before more familiars become available. But I think that we might be lagging behind a bit there.
All grown up.
Okay. Well, now we can do the garlic cloves, yes. But there's also whatever the heck this thing is. Plankton. In 77? Wow, that's a long time. Grown to slithering stalks. Ooh. So that,
strong.
I think, might be more than a full run's worth of time. Okay, but I think that's everything over here. And then, I mean, there's a chance that some of those resources that we've picked up from the latter floors help us to unlock some of these things. I mean, this requires a feather, which we haven't done yet because this is a pretty wonky Arcana card that makes me a little bit nervous. So, I'm pretty sure we could afford to at least unlock the initial version of the vast majority, if not all of these. Maybe that's worth doing, and maybe that, for some reason, is a threshold you need to reach to encounter things like familiars or other things that are currently locked for us. So, we did pick up a fair bit of ashes in the previous run, so you know what? Sure.
The unseen.
Let's get that. Gives us a lot of magic restoration, actually, so if you are going on a dedicated cast run, then it might not be a bad option. And this, the feather, is pretty valuable, because that comes from Prometheus, but we have now defeated Prometheus enough. We have a few of those, so it's maybe a little more expendable, even if I'm not thrilled about the prospect of using that Arcana card. Then this would be the last one left. We have plenty of wool and enough ashes. Get this. So that's now all of these unlocked. There's a chance that's a prophecy. And then, you know, again, we could potentially look to upgrade some of these things, although we are very low on moon dust. And by very low, I mean completely out of moon dust. So that will not be a thing that we do on this occasion. No new keepsakes. We did try out the knuckle bones for the first time. As I was saying, kind of hard to know exactly how much that was doing for us, since it's a fairly subtle effect. Oh, it also might unlock more of these. Trial of Destiny, we did not previously see. Let's see, because maybe if some of these give you certain Arcana cards to start off with, they might only appear once you've unlocked those Arcana cards. So what's this one? Resist the influence of chance as you scale war-torn Mount Olympus and provide for primordial chaos a fine view of matters there. So on Olympus, aspect of Malinui on the blades, and transcendent embryo, understandable from a keepsake standpoint at the very least, but we're going to hold off doing those until we get a little bit further with other runs, although, I don't know, we've now have 2 successful Typhon runs. I mean, one more would be nice, but I'm pretty sure that we cannot, you know, permanently defeat Typhon at this stage of the game's development. So we might start to shift gears toward either going back down for more of the fear-based stuff, if that happens to be the direction that it takes us, or whatever resource we need to upgrade the various aspects we might be interested in using, or unlocking keepsakes that we do not yet have. I honestly don't even know which ones we have still remaining, or we could end up going back to this fairly soon.
Must think you're pretty tough by now, don't you? Beating Kronos or whoever down again and again. But are you pushing yourself to the fullest, or taking it easy?
Why is easy lighting up like that?
Few would consider the task of vanquishing the Titan of Time to be an easy one, Commander. Though I take your meaning. The oath of the unseen beckons.
Oh, okay.
Come on, use it. My disciples and I are practically daring you. You'll get to spruce up your nocturnal arms. We'll get to see what happens. Win-win.
Unless I fail.
That's true. The last 2 runs, I don't think we used it at all, because it's a little frustrating when you want to go in a specific direction for plot progression. However, the god or however the boss you need to defeat goes in the opposite direction. Like right now, if we were to stay here, it would still be Cerberus, which I think is what we saw earlier, but that's not really what we want if we're trying to still continue upward.
You made it from Olympus all this way.
Oh, the shade has a coat on. That's why that shade's from Olympus. That's actually so cool. That's so subtle, but so cool. Okay, well, the bonus weapon, for whatever it's worth, would be the cape. The black coat. I do like this weapon. And we have highly upgraded the aspect of Malinui. We had one more adamant, we could upgrade it again. Could mess around with some of the other aspects potentially if we can afford them. Just out of curiosity, though.
Do I dare?
The bonus enemy is Hecate. So once again, it would require that we go down. So this is what I mean, where, yes, would we like to defeat Typhon again? Absolutely. Ideally. However, one could make the argument that it's actually more productive for us to go down and get the resources from completing these testaments. So, as for how exactly we choose to carry out our next run, I'm not entirely sure. We have some conflicting objectives in that way, but at least looking back at the previous run, can't ask for anything more than defeating Typhon, even if it was far closer this time than it was last time. But alas, this is the right time for us to call it here. So thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you next time.